Happy Monday, guys. So today's topic is going to be the best topic ever to shift your perspective in the way you talk or think about healthcare in general. I can't believe it's Christmas already. Oh my goodness. I've been frantically busy trying to get the house ready, getting all the gifts packed. It's not really packed or gifted or packaged up, or I haven't even gotten the cards yet. But anyway, you can tell I'm so like a squirrel all the time, thinking of new things that I have got to get done before. And I can't even believe next year is next week. I can't believe it's, New Year's, and we're going to be celebrating New Year's pretty soon in next week. Like, I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. 2020 has completely shifted the way I think. It shifted who I am. It shifted how I show up to you guys and all the things that I do. And so I hope you guys really do take the time to think about it. This time of the year has always been my favorite time of the year because I love reflecting on sort of the things that I learned about the year and then to plan for the resolutions. But I'm one of those people that stick to their guns, and I'm able to typically be disciplined enough, and I set goals in a wise way to keep up with my goals as well as to achieve them by the end of the year. I've sort of exceeded my expectations from last year's goals. Although it looks very differently right now, I was able to achieve lots of things in my business as well as my education. I was able to create a lot of the things, and part of the baby that was born is this podcast as well. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you just for being here and supporting our endeavors. And you know that my goal is to really shift the way you think about healthcare and the way you show up in your own practice, whether you're a medical doctor, physical therapist, occupational therapist, registered dietitian, or even a yoga teacher, Pilates instructor, or any fitness professional. Whoever you are, I always say you are health promoting practitioner, right? That means you're always facilitating, promoting, and empowering your clients to do better so that they show up to embody health and wellness in everything that they do. In order for them to do that, remember, you've got to start to pull from the tools from all your toolbox, which means you have to think about and understand how human brain works and how it thinks and how it behaves and how it feels so that it does the thing, as well as to understand the implications and the impact of the feelings that it has in our physiology to create the vibrations. That ultimately, we're not logical creatures. We are by far driven by our feelings. And if we can just feel our way through and understand our feeling, and understand too, at the end of the day, what we fear the most, the worst thing that can happen to us is a feeling. And knowing that, it should probably lighten up the load and the fear and the heaviness that goes along with whatever it is that you aim to do. I've realized this year that I tend to have a very tight grip on the things, and I'm busy achieving. And so my next year's goal is to just ease back and make everything flow and let it be easy. That's my goal, and really to practice what I preach. On that note, today I want to talk to you guys about really the gap between sick care and healthcare, right? I've been in healthcare, I've been a clinician for over 20 years, but I didn't realize that I was really in sick care. We only get patients in when they're sick, when they're substandard, right? We're not really preventing, we're not really promoting health so much. It's almost like their threshold has dipped and we need to get them back to baseline. And we think absence of disease is health, but it's really not. You can do better than that. So, sick care is when you have ICD-9 codes, you've got some symptoms that then have a threshold and it's crossed the line into disease, and you've got some imbalance in your system. Sick care needs healthcare system, right? So to speak, healthcare. But being in sick care means you now have to take some medications. You have to go for routine visits with your doctors, and you have to take or measure your serology to measure the progress of your disease, or to keep things stable in your body. And sick care is also hospitalizations. And having lived with an autoimmune condition for over 20 years, I intimately experience what sick care has to offer. And it's not where you want to be. And so then what is healthcare? Well, healthcare, we've got fitness instructors, we've got yoga teachers, we've got Pilates instructors, we've got nutritionists, people who want to optimize their health. But that's the healthcare, right? Healthcare is good. If you are healthy, it all works really well. Everything is easy. It's all about shifting your mindset from sick to health, really, and really getting the drive and the motivation. But there's this stark contrast and spectrum between sick care and healthcare. And more people need our care, the bridge between sick care and healthcare. That's where most people are. It's post rehabilitation, it's pre health and wellness, optimal health. And so most of our population is in that gap. So how do we serve the gap, and what can you expect is why I created functional yoga medicine to better equip you as practitioners. Don't just settle to be a teacher, yoga teacher, fitness instructor. You're much more than that. If you're a healthcare practitioner, forget the scope of practice. You do sick care, but you want to bridge the gap so that your patients can have and maintain the gains that they gained with you, so that you want to empower them to not come back to sick care. But think about the business model of sick care today. Hospitalists, surgeons, physical therapists, medical doctors, we all need sick patients for the world to go around. And really, typically, doctors make a lot of money. The income levels of healthcare practitioners and the stability of the job and all that's there. But do you really want you as a clinician, do you really want to be in sick care? Because really, if you call yourselves the yoga teachers, the physical therapists, and occupational therapy, you want to be able to fill that gap, because you don't just go from sick to health, right? There's a gap. Where do these patients go after discharge so that they don't go back? And that is the art and science that you need to bridge. All the things from orthopedic conditions, from lumbar herniation, disc herniation, discectomies, laminectomies, and cortisone injections, and all the things that come, or even ACL repairs, sometimes total knee replacement, total shoulder replacements, or whatever, or carpal tunnel release. Whatever orthopedic conditions, you need to rehabilitate them to functionally get them to a level where they're functional again, right? That's the physical realm. And then there's the psychiatry and psychology. A lot of people fall prey to depression, and depression is real, you guys. Sometimes we need the medications to pull us out. Some people have suicidal thoughts, which can be very dangerous. Some people are beside themselves, and they do have a chemical imbalance that to perpetuate that. But a lot of the times on the healthcare spectrum, you have no knowledge of what happens in that spectrum, even though a lot of these people in that gap, sometimes if they're not in the hospital and they're not in the routine visits in the doctor's office, most people are now flocking to the yoga studios. Most people are going to the personal trainers. They are seeking on their own terms to get healthier. They read books. They seek a nutritionist. So that's why I'm saying the bridge is where it's at. And it's where you can build your business so that you can not only elevate your clients to be their best, but you can empower them then to do the best by the things that you share with them, as well as to enable them to embody health and wellness in all that they do. Now, I recently finished up a workshop called Functional Breakthrough Workshop. In my free Facebook group called Functional Yoga Medicine, and we held this workshop for over 10 days. And it's still not too late. If you ask to be admitted, there's all the units there, and we just opened CART to be certified. For this year is the last time you can opt in at this price. So if you're interested, please click the link below so that you can get admitted into our group. Listen to the units if you want. And then there's all the information down in the feeds. We had a very, very focused group where we had a lot of engagements with each other. We made serious connections, and everybody that came together were super duper happy, and everybody walked away with a wealth of knowledge to be their best. So I'm hoping that as we approach 2021, that we can certify more practitioners to bridge the gap between sick and healthcare in a real way. And this is the goal for me. And I just want you to really understand what that gap is, because a lot of people might have metabolic dysfunctions like diabetes, high cholesterol, they might have hypertension, they might be at the brink of heart attacks, as well as many people have autoimmune conditions. Many people are precancerous, breast cancers are huge. There's a lot of mysterious illnesses that's going on because our stressors are on the rise financially, economically, as well as worldwide pandemic has set a new level of stress in our lives. So with all that being said, you really have to meet the need. And how do you meet that? Because a lot of the patients are flocking to the internet for answers, and there's a lot of people giving free advice and sometimes charged advice by somebody that may not necessarily understand the full spectrum of what they're delivering and who is consuming their content in that way. So you really have to be responsible with knowledge enough to provide the right kind of information so that the consumers are able to utilize your information that you put out in a very responsible way. And so bridging the gap between sick and healthcare is where it's at. And that's where we as functional yoga medicine certified practitioners stand. It's all about bringing the piece of psychology, all the mental aspects of health, the relationships with self, as well as the relationship with wealth, health, and other people, to sort of understand the driving motivations, as well as to understand the antecedents and triggers and perpetuating factors in their lives psychologically, to really understand that psychological piece, along with understanding from that place, they're going to make some choices, and good choices sometimes bad choices, depending on where they are psychologically, into the foods, the nutritional piece. So psychology, nutrition. And then we have physical medicine, physical therapy, because people need to move. We human beings are designed to move. And if we don't move, we don't function. If we don't function, we die. We have a lot of inflammation. Our bodies are designed to move. So I want you to focus on the movement piece. And then there is the functional medicine piece, Institute of Functional Medicine board certified in that. And so I have a lot of things to share with you in a way that makes sense for you to apply the concepts you learned in real time. To tie it all together is energy medicine, and the umbrella holding all the things together is yoga. Yoga is really journey to self. It's a self-healing journey. And we believe that if the individuals can be empowered to heal themselves, that's the best way to be. So we're all about elevating those to be their best so that they can be empowered to do their best, so that they can embody health and wellness in all aspects of their lives. That's really the bridge between Sickcare and healthcare. So the question is, where do you want to be? Are you in Sickcare, being commoditized by the insurance payers and the patients? But the patients are now looking for those that are in the health and wellness industry to serve them better, because they realize this in Sickcare is perpetuating. So physical therapists, occupational therapists, registered dietitians, and medical doctors are in Sickcare. So you really do need to bridge the gap, and bridging the gap is what functional yoga medicine certification program is all about. And again, all the trainings necessary in psychology, nutrition, physical medicine, and functional medicine, energy medicine, and all under the umbrella of yoga is shared in this program, comprehensive program. So that bridging the gap becomes super easy and applicable, and you have all the tools and tactics at your fingertips, as well as a strategy by which you're going to take your clients forward, as well as it's principally oriented. So you have a strong foundational knowledge enough to create art that matters and impacts clients' lives in a deep and meaningful way. So all of a sudden, you get to enjoy what you do. We teach you all the business aspects of it, but understand that this world needs a lot more of you who can bridge the gap between sick and healthcare. If you want to know more, please subscribe to our podcast as well as to join our group, Facebook group called Functional Yoga Medicine. It's where we have elevated conversations all about this. So thank you so much for tuning in today. I wish you a very Merry Christmas, and I will probably be back here before the New Year's, but have a great Christmas, and I will see you guys all soon. Thank you so much for